honestly have no idea what any of this means. I know that God does, but I don't. But Charlie, baby, I know you do too. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
Hi guys, so America is on fire with reactions right now. After Charlie Kirk's shocking death, his wife took the stage and what she said has the nation divided. Some are calling her speech powerful and historic, others say it's nothing but politics wrapped in grief. Tonight we'll dive into the tears, the anger, the backlash and the praise. I'm Tiana and this is Tiana's Reacts.
First speech back about your husband, you're using his death to push a political agenda. Even her words, bro, listen to the words she was using. These evildoers, right? It was one assassin. These evildoers, they're obviously trying to make it out to be the entirety of the left that caused this tragedy. I still stand by what I said about not celebrating anybody's death or not celebrating harm like this, but this is a new level of crazy.
To be honest, I don't know how I feel about Erika Kirk's interview that she's given to the press. I don't think for a second, if that was me or many other people that had happened to and you'd seen that play out, that I could stand on that stage so articulate, so with it, if that happened to me in my situation. I don't know if I could stand there, give a statement, give a speech for that long, go down memory lane and keep it together. I mean, I know that people deal with grief very differently and people go into a state of shock, but only a few days after, I mean, I don't know what's going on in her head. Like, I couldn't possibly imagine that. But I couldn't get up on that stage and do that. I couldn't. I think I would have been so traumatised by what I had seen. It's one thing seeing someone else have that happen to them when you're not in their circle or situation, but to have it happen to one of your own, that would have been very difficult, and I'm not sure that I could do that, and I'm not sure how she's doing it. Now, I just want to make it clear, I am not mocking her for getting up on that stage and doing what it is that she's doing in terms of her speech and talking about the passing of her husband. I'm not. I just find it difficult based on my own emotions to the situation. If I was to switch it round, I don't know how she's doing it. I honestly don't feel like I would be able to pick myself up off the floor if I'd witnessed that. I don't know how she's doing it. Has anyone else watched it? Because if you haven't, it's in my saves. I recommend you watch it because I want to know what you think on it. Put in the comments what your thoughts are in it. Obviously she's grieving and everybody grieves in a very, very different way to each other, and who are we to, I suppose, judge how someone is grieving in their situation? I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I don't know, I could do it, I couldn't do it.
Hey my friends, I just finished watching Charlie Kirk's wife Erika's address to the nation, and I sat here for about 2 hours thinking of what I wanted to say. And I want to start off by saying that address to the nation is going to be one of the most consequential speeches in American history. There are millions of women who will watch that speech tonight and for the coming days and weeks, and they are going to feel that rallying cry to get up and fight for this country. And I think any man with an ounce of testosterone watching that, a woman who's just lost her husband, the father of her children, if you're a man with an ounce of testosterone, you are going to get up and fight for this country as well. You're going to fight for Western civilization, because this is a battle between good and evil. I said it in my last video. This country isn't so much divided by Republicans and Democrats anymore. It's divided by those who love the United States of America and those who seek to destroy it. The next thing I will say is this. As I've been sitting here the last few hours in silence and stillness, there's been this quote that's been stuck in my head. It's actually been stuck in my head for weeks, which is that on the other side of a breakdown is a breakthrough. And this week is a breakthrough moment for this country. I think there are millions of people who have finally woken up to what we are dealing with. There is absolutely nothing I want more than unity in this country, but the last few years have shown us you can't sing Kumbaya and get along and hold hands with people who want you dead simply for having common sense values. Charlie Kirk was the most skilled orator. He's one of the most skilled debaters. He would go to college campuses and he would try to have a dialogue with people. And look what they did to him, those deranged lunatics. He is gone purely for having common sense values. He was a moderate guy going around trying to dialogue with people. At this point, we are going to save our country, whether these deranged folks on the left want it or not. Charlie Kirk's barbaric, disgusting assassination and Erika Kirk's incredible speech tonight, I don't even know how she got up there and did that. Those events will galvanize millions of people moving into the midterms, moving into 2028. These Democrats on the left, you guys have unleashed the Kraken. Good luck. The Democrat Party right now has no identity. The major Democratic leaders like Nancy Pelosi and Jasmine Crockett, they won't even condemn this violence, really. They won't even tone down their rhetoric the last few days. The Democrat Party, all they stand for is open borders, crime on the streets, men and women's sports, the transing of children. Zoran Mamdani in New York wants us to stand in line for bread. We're not having it. We're done. We are going to fight like hell for our country. And I think this week has been that breakthrough watershed moment that will go down in history where people have said, we're done playing nice. We can't play nice anymore. You're either coming with us or get out of our way. The last thing I'll say is this. I see a lot of podcasters, influencers, and young people the last few days auditioning to be the next Charlie Kirk. They're trying to emulate him, which is very flattering. But Charlie Kirk went around to these college campuses telling young people, be yourselves, love the body you were born in, love the way you were created. And I can say this as someone who's never really fit in my whole life, who was kind of a loser until a year or two ago. Find that thing that makes you unique and use that to show up for this country, to get involved in the discourse, in the dialogue, to show up for your friends, to show up for your family. If you have a cell phone and a Wi-Fi connection, you can get involved in this country. But don't try to emulate and be the next Charlie Kirk. Walk in his image and use the values that he would always espouse, but be yourselves. All right, I love you guys. Go be with your friends, go be with your loved ones. And I know I say this in almost all my videos right now and on my podcast, but if you're home alone this weekend, if you're sitting at home alone watching the news, watching your phone, and you see this video, I'm thinking of you, so you are not alone right now. I love all of you. I love this country. Even on America's worst day, I would rather live here than anywhere else. So I love you all. I just want to go sign off and be alone and be still, honestly. But I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Okay, don't hate me. Literally just an opinion. I'm literally conservative, vote red, like, definitely on Charlie's side. He didn't deserve it, not laughing at that. Like, totally, like, with everybody on this, okay? But the whole situation is just weird. Her speech tonight was weird. Not really her speech was weird, but how she kept it together so well after being a widow 48 hours ago. After becoming a widow 48 hours ago, just blows my mind. Like, it just felt off. I can't explain it. And the book being published a day or 2 days before he died on Amazon. I seen it. I looked for myself before it got removed. The whole situation is weird. Like, just strange, like eerie. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on. I'm scared. Literally scared. Not saying he's alive still. Not saying, like, anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this whole situation is weird. And I want to know if I'm the only one that thought that she kept it pretty freaking together tonight, considering everything she's been through in the last 48 hours. Don't know if she's in shock. I don't know. No hate to me, literally. I'm just voicing my opinion. Freedom of speech, y'all. Freedom of speech, okay? I don't know. I was sobbing in multiple parts of her speech. And, never met these people, okay? Never met these people. I feel for them. Like, this is like a tragic time of history right now. I just feel like if it was my husband who died in such a tragic way, leaving behind 2 kids. Like, I don't even know if I'd be able to, like, keep the speech going as long as she did. Like, again, just my opinion, y'all.
I may get backlash for this, and I'm not trying to be ugly by all means, but how is his wife able to get on here and do a speech that, yeah, no. I don't know, something's wrong with that. I'd be in there crying, hugging my husband's pillow, and, you know, there would be no way in hell I am on a podium giving a fucking speech to the public. Like, and then I don't ever see a tear come out her eye. I wouldn't even be able to speak. I wouldn't even be able to leave my house, much less speak. So, to me, that's a little odd. I mean, you know, you can disagree with me all you want to, but if my husband were to get upset like that, baby, I'd have dropped to my knees, and it would take everybody, it would take, yeah, to get me up, because that's your, yeah, no, yeah, so she's either very strong-minded, or something's going on, because, yeah, I wouldn't, I just, the next day, or, yeah, in that calmly, no. Like, I'm shaking saying this, like, there's no way in hell it would take multiple people to get out of the bed from hugging his pillow. Much less out of the house to, yeah, no. But, you know, each to their own. I like Charlie. I watched all his videos. He was very, very fucking smart, and I loved the way he made them contradict their own thoughts and their own beliefs. Every time they would contradict their own, beliefs, because he was that smart, and he knew his truth.
They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. They should all know this. If you thought...
Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk, live streamed a message last night, and if that video was anything, it was a further call to war. Now, if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go watch it, because the visuals and messaging are absolutely fascinating. And just like my video from last night, it's time to clock in and listen up, because we're gonna the shit out of this thing. Each emphasis, each moment of emotional expression looked so perfectly calculated, and everything continued to circle back around to promoting and platforming the turning point, the business. She even directs people to their website. She tells them to start chapters wherever they are. She even goes so far as to say that there is absolutely no excuse to not start a chapter if there is not one near you. She also says that the evildoers will pay for what they've done. Here's the thing though, this speech was broadcast live, which means that it was broadcast after Tyler Robinson turned himself in. Now, the language around the shooter has been very singular, very solo. We caught the guy. We already know that it looks like Tyler Robinson is aligning with the far, far right, in particular, the GroPro movement. So, who are these evildoers to which she's referring? And if you for 1 second think that she had time to get a full beat hair done, come up with that speech, but didn't keep up with Tyler Robinson's probable affiliations, then you're either on the wrong page or you need to hold onto your hat, because you're about to get a crash course in chaos. At first glance, it would be so easy to assume that she's talking about Democrats and the left. That would be the obvious answer. But if you watched my last video, you already know that I don't think she was talking to Democrats and the left. I think she was talking about other factions in the alt-right. I think the reference to evildoers served two distinct functions. and that it carried both a high and low frequency of messaging. The high, the obvious, it calls out to everyone that still believes that Tyler Robinson was radicalized by the left. And after scrolling through literally thousands of comments last night as I was looking at news media coverage videos, it is very clear that there still are an absolute ton of people that believe that he was radicalized by the left. Because of the word fascist used on one of the shell casings, they absolutely cannot wrap their minds around the fact that the phrases used were actually alt-right memes. They only know the word fascist as used as part of a left lexicon. So this high frequency messaging keeps them riled up, especially after MAGA Republicans have had to pivot away from directly accusing Democrats of having done it. The low frequency messaging, other far right factions, because by the time she made this message, it would have already been known that Tyler Robinson's affiliations would be with the far right, not the left. Steph, even if she was talking to other far-right factions, wasn't this just the work of one angry shooter? Who put out the fucking book? That's right, it all comes back round again. Who published that biography one day before it actually happened? Who are they? What did they know? What role did they play? People are always talking about the left eating itself, but I want to know, what's happening with the right? So for the last day, the Democrats and the leftists have been online making jokes talking about, so are the white people going to fight back against other white people? Are the right going to fight the right? Yes. The answer is yes. Months ago, I made a video breaking down how Trump was trying to turn the states into a white Christian national state, but that beyond that, a lot of white Christians would eventually be shocked to find out that they are not the right kind of white, nor the right kind of Christian to be considered part of the in-group. The right, the far right, the alt-right, there are factions and they don't like each other. It is well known that Nick Fuentes' Groypers hated Charlie Kirk. They found him too moderate. They didn't find him extreme enough. Him not extreme enough for their liking. But I also think the right is smart enough to know that the range of extremes in and amongst the factions is beneficial for shifting mindsets and carrying out indoctrination on different levels. I said it in my last video and I'll say it again. People think the fight is left versus right, but I think the right sees the left as a nuisance and that for them at the end of the day, they see the fight as right versus farther right. Whether it's MAGA Republicans or Groypers, Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, people that don't think they align necessarily with the Republicans and yet here's certain messaging that they feel, oh, actually, that's not that bad. You know, those little insidious messages that kind of get in there and pull people along further and further the path of right. Sometimes it's just due to religious indoctrination, you know, the fact that someone carries the same religious identity as them makes them blind to the other harmful things that they're doing. And so they will protect that person as a member of the same religious flock rather than calling them out for the actual harm that they do. At the end of the day, all these different people, all these little pieces, they could all have a useful role to play. Think of indoctrination like a sales funnel, you know? Sometimes people pop in at different points in the sales funnel, depending on what they need, what they already know, how they're feeling, and where they are in their life. Erika Kirk's message last night was her selling and selling hard.
Come in the room. TP USA. TP USA, Turning Point USA, an organization founded by Charlie Kirk and Bill Montgomery. It's a non-profit organization, 501c3. They advocate for conservatism. Yeah, that's what they do. Now, this organization has a revenue of 85 million. I said 85 million as a nonprofit. I said 85 million. And it has expenses of 81 million. With 458 employees. Now, this organization was started in 2012. Now, the purpose of starting this nonprofit was to advocate for conservatism or advocate in conservatism on educational campuses, such as high school, college, and university. But why just conservatism? You know, because some people got a problem with liberalism. You understand what I'm saying? But wait a minute, this is supposed to be a man of faith. His wife is supposed to be a woman of faith. And the word of God said, now the Lord is that spirit. And where the spirit of the Lord is, there
liberty.
Liberty. It didn't say conservatism. It did not say that. It said liberty. And the purpose of that is to let people know no longer are you trapped by sin and bondage and the old covenant law, but that you may be transformed into the image of God. Not that you already is, but that you may be transformed into the image of God. With all that being said and the money being said, and it seemed like it's doing, you know, a great deed advocating on high school, college, and university campuses, students in conservatism. You mean to tell me they had to borrow the VP president, or the VP had to lend his. You mean to tell me they had to borrow the vice president plane that we done paid for, the American people, we pay, the taxpayers pay for, you know, all people who work pay for, you understand me? You mean to tell me they had to get that plane to go get that man body from Utah and to take it back so they can get ready to have his funeral? I said you got expenses of 85 million. You got revenue of 85 million, and expenses in 81 million. So 41 million, 450 employees, who can pay? Well, let's keep going. This woman talked for almost 18 minutes. What she talk about? First of all, she started out thanking all these people who done helped them, and she thanked y'all too, who you know, y'all making sure Charlie is a martyr. He's a martyr. Charlie ain't no martyr. Charlie ain't no martyr, baby. What you talking about? And then you talking about he saved and he fuck God, baby. Charlie is the devil. And you is too. And I'm finna point that out in a minute. Since all y'all talking about, oh, y'all need to pray for them. Y'all need to pray for their family. I'm gonna do like the word of... Hear ye. I'm gonna do like the word of God says in the book of Jeremiah. He said it 2 times. He said it in Jeremiah 7:16, and he said it in Jeremiah 11 chapter. Don't pray for these people. Don't pray for these people. Don't you do that. Some people got to go through their accountability. That's what they got to do. The thing that got Charlie in trouble was his mouth. Now, wait a minute. That ain't the point. Now, this man's wife got on air. They Fox News recorded her. Whoever else recorded her. They did a press conference after he died. 2 days after he died. 2 days after her husband died. She ain't really distraught. She don't seem like nothing really wrong with her. But she's strong enough to stand in front of a camera 2 days after her husband died. Talking about she don't know when last time she slept. Lady, it ain't been 2 days. He been dead 2 days. She was immaculate, wasn't she? Once she immaculate, baby, you almost didn't see a spot of blemishes. Baby, you almost didn't see a spot of blemish on her. Baby, the light was shining so bright on her, you almost didn't see her. She almost disappeared. Do you understand what I'm saying? If she didn't have no color in her, we wouldn't even know she was there. All we would have heard was the spirit, a voice. So this woman talked for 18 minutes. What she talk about? First of all, she began to thank everybody who done did something. Oh, JD, you know, my husband's friend. Oh, she'll thank y'all for, you know, getting my husband back in safe. You understand what I'm saying? Then she thanked the president. Then she thanked all the other people who worked in the organization. She thanked y'all too, who she thanked finna get out here and try to run like crazy for TP USA. That's what she doing. Baby, y'all can't see the bribery. You can't see this, baby. This woman ain't just speaking of her husband eulogy right here. Baby, she advocating something. Yeah, she advocating that this legacy continue on with who running at her. And then y'all want us to pray for her. Wait a minute. Let's not get that yet. She talked about Charlie and she talked about the chair. Oh, she got it all emotional about the chair. Yes, she did. She talked about work. She talked about family. She talked about the importance of marriage. The importance of marriage. You know, she talked about that. She talked about faith. And I was like, wow, for him to be a man of faith, why so much chaos? You understand what I'm saying? Charlie wants to be remembered for his courage and his faith. We don't know too much about Charlie's faith. We know a whole lot about Charlie's courage. We know about his ambition. We know how Charlie had a tendency to open his mouth about certain things he probably shouldn't have even been touching. You understand what I'm saying? And you know what? I'm going to leave that alone, juggler. Leave that alone. Leave that alone. She talked about TPUSA. Why would she just keep bringing up TPUSA? Why would she mention the website? Why would she mention where you can donate from? Donate to? Baby, don't you see what's going on? The man just died. Y'all vulnerable right now. Right now is the time to speak. To get that money. We need y'all to pour in these donations. Come on here, we got work to do. I swear, if that lady cared about Charlie, she wouldn't have been on TV 2 days after Charlie died. You understand what I'm saying? No, lady, the way you sit up there and bragged about your husband, and he loved me, and he did this, and he did, and every day, and every day, and every day, and he made sure he asked me every day. Lady, you is a lie. Lady, I'm a woman, and I know you lie. My husband don't even do that every day, and you might be saying, but he ain't none of your husband, baby. You is a lie. Charlie, I don't care if Charlie's saved. I don't care if Charlie can remember every day. Baby, every day ain't a good day in marriage. You is a lie. Charlie did not ask you all that stuff every day. Am I being a good husband? What can I do better to serve you? Girl, you better quit. You know what? You better quit. You better quit. Lady, you about as delusional as some of y'all people who thought when Charlie died, this came from Black America. But come to find out, it didn't come from Black America. Where it come from is y'all. But yeah, anyway, she talked about the legacy gonna continue. And we know how she went from faith to fake when it came to the legacy. We know how she went from faith to aggressive when it came to the legacy. We know how she went from faith to herself when it came to the legacy. Yes, sir. Yes, she did. It's going to continue on. It's going to be strong and it's going to be better. Who that sound like? That sound like y'all manipulative president, don't it? Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be better. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be magnificent. Sit down, Jezebel, because that's what she do. She always thinks something going to be glorious when she get in charge. You understand what I'm saying? Then this lady going to say, what do you tell a 3-year-old who asks you where they dad at? Or when, a parent lost or something, some words of that sort. What do you tell them? Stuff. You tell them the truth. That's the problem now. Y'all don't prepare these children for the truth. But you know what she did? After she talked about all that faith, after she gave us all them scriptures, I'm gonna tell you what she said. This lady said after she got back home to her child, after she been getting everything in order, with Charlie, after that little incident, well, not no little incident, after his tragic, demise, that her child said, hey, mommy, I'm glad to see you. I miss you and all that. Where's daddy? She said, what do you tell the 3-year-old? What do you tell the 3-year-old? She said, she told this child, dad on a work trip with Jesus. What? Huh? Now, you done gave us all these scriptures. You talking about Turning Point USA, conservatism, faith, courage. And you couldn't tell your baby the truth. Baby, your daddy died. Your daddy has left us. He has since transitioned. Mama, what that mean? Go look up the word transition and tell your baby. He ain't with us no more. Something happened. He died. And we just gonna remember him in our hearts. You understand what I'm saying? You see what y'all do? Y'all manipulate stuff and then y'all wonder why these kids grow up delusional. They don't know the truth. That's what you tell a 3-year-old. Baby, a 1-year-old can tell you something. Don't sit here and think, them kids too young. Like Paul told Timothy, don't let nobody tell you too young to say nothing. Don't let nobody do that. Lady, you talked about all these scriptures. You talked about faith. You understand what I'm saying? You talked about the duty of Jesus Christ. The duty of man is to be honest. But you tell your baby a lie. He on a work trip with Jesus. That what you say? Hold up. His casket must gonna be closed. What you gonna tell your baby if you take that 3-year-old to the funeral? What you gonna say? Oh, daddy just sleeping. Y'all better stop lying to these children. Stop telling these children the truth. Prepare these children for life. Because I tell you, if you don't, life gonna prepare them itself. I want you to, if you watch this, glance back on what you saw on the front of that podium that lady was speaking at. Glance back. Go back. Go on back. You can't remember? Okay. What it said was, may Charlie be received into the merciful arms of Jesus, our loving Savior. That's what it said. I know she's saying, right, no, it didn't. It say Jesus. Yeah, it said Jesus. Jesus who? Now look, y'all can sit up here and think this lady wants some sympathy if you want to. You can sit up here and think this lady wants some sympathy if you want to. We don't even know who she is. That lady got on so much makeup. Who is Erika? We don't who, for Erika to be so caught up in the faith, why you gotta put on so much to cover yourself up? Okay, that's number one. That's number one. Yeah, number two is this, and you gotta ask yourself, why? Why is Donald Trump and the conservative world pushing behind this woman and this man's name so bad? Why are they doing that? Why are they putting all this in the forefront? Even masking 9/11 with no headstone. You understand what I'm saying? Why did they put all this in the forefront? Baby, let me tell you something. When the enemy busy, when the enemy done set you up, the enemy got to do stuff to make it look like the enemy ain't done it. You heard what I said? I said the enemy got to do stuff to look like the enemy ain't done it. So the reason why her husband ain't him, she might be part of the plot. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why her husband ain't him is because the people who were supposed to be his friends made sure that he was invisible. It's baffling. It's amazing to me. Erika quoted all them scriptures, but she didn't quote the one where it says, if it had been an enemy, but it was my brother, my confidant, my friend. It was my equal that put the sword in me. At this point, all I want to hear from, is Charlie parents, Charlie family. About this Jezebel that they put in front of cameras, and she was ready, and she faked the funk, and we read the fakeness in the funk. While she tried to put some faith on top of it. Girl, we saw right through you. Now they told you how to act when you got up there, but guess what? What you hit on that paper, you couldn't deliver.
One thing is clear, Erika Kirk's words have shaken America to its core. Supporters call her brave, while critics call her dangerous. No one is ignoring her. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this story is only getting started. I'm Tiana, and this is Tiana's Reacts. See you in the next one. But till then, be good, be calm, and